Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Dakian and it is today the 5th of December and it's a Monday, as usual in these videos. And it's 2016, by the way, if you would miss that. I'm going to start off as usual by showing you painted miniatures. I'm going to have to do it in two batches here. The first batch is these Frostgrave golems and demons. Now, if you take a look at this, this is a sort of, I don't know what's it called, patchwork golem. I decided to make it a little bit more clear with the patchwork than in the studio paint job, which is kind of dark and it's just a sack for the head. And I made the stitching. I made the stitching into staples actually by painting them metallic. So, on the other hand, with a flesh golem, I instead went more subtle. If you see, in the studio paint job, they have accentuated the fact that he stitched together from different pieces of different people by painting very, very different skin tones on different parts. I've tried to keep it a little more subtle, a little bit more reddish skin here, a little bit more greenish skin there, and highlight the stitching with some bruising around the stitches, just to make it clear that's what's going on. With the demons, I've painted them pretty much. This is the studio paint job for these two guys. Went with a different color for the fur, but otherwise it's not too dissimilar. And for some reason, the smaller one, they went with a different color for the body there. I didn't want to do that. I just painted the wings a different color and the body red with metallic spikes on him. And then finally, for the big dude, the main change I did was to paint the metallic silver metallic instead of a bronze. I made the gemstone green instead of red because I think that this paint scheme is just too monochromatic. There's too much red in there. I wanted to go with something a bit more varied, so I did the horns a lighter color and the leather also a lighter color to contrast all the red. But yeah, reasonably happy with how he turned out. And this is the rest of what I finished this week. First off, the first real Christmas mini I've done. We have a small dragon lying on top of a pile of presents, and he's got a couple of candy canes there as well, clutched in his claw. And there's some sort of book here. Very simply painted, just green all over, except for the horns and teeth and the like. And yeah. Now these slugs are the companion pieces to the cultists I'm going to be showing you in a minute. I finished these first because they were simpler. I just try to make them look slimy and gross and, you know, like something you don't want to see crawling towards you in a cavern. Now I added grass. I didn't make the basis cavern basis, but oh well. You get the idea. Anyway, that concludes the finished section of minis for this week. Let's move on to works in progress. Now here we have the stuff I'm currently working on. In the back here you can see the cultists. Very little so far. I've done a little more work on the ground here, a little bit more on the skin, but not much. Down here we have the remaining big guys. Again, with the snakes, I've started working on the groundwork, the dirt and rocks. And with these two guys, the Yeti and the Ice Troll, I've simply assembled and primed them. Primed them white because they're going to be very pale. A light gray or a light blue color, each of them. And they went together fairly well. I mean, the shaft of this hammer is not perfectly straight, but that's the nature of resin instead of metal. Overall, nice sculpts, nice poses, and it's gonna be interesting to paint them up, I think. So this is the last of the models that I showed you last week and said I was gonna prep. It is not assembled, as you can see. I've simply taken all the pieces and cleaned them, both taking off any flash or mow lines, but there was very little of it. And then, as always, cleaning with hot water and washing up liquid. And I've started the assembly by placing this portion, the flying stand, on a plastic base as well, just to give it a bit more, even more stability, and provide a sort of fundament for the groundwork. Because after I've attached this bit, which I'm not sure when I will actually do, but this will be the sort of flying stand, and then the bed of the thing rests here, and it is clearly supposed to be at an angle like this. It's sort of, if you see the picture, it's heading slightly downwards. But anyway, once this is attached, I will fill in this with some sort of filler material. I thought green, not green stuff, that's too expensive. I'll use something cheaper, like acrylic paste that I have, and then do some groundwork. But I'm kind of agonizing over the assembly. I'm still not sure exactly how much to assemble and when. I mean, this part definitely probably needs to be glued on beforehand. But should I start painting this before attaching the sides so that I can get in between these parts? Let's see here. If it's something like this, it's not completely flush, as you see. There's a gap, and maybe I want to get some paint in there, and especially on this inside portion of this, and that definitely needs to be done before gluing. And then we have the rider. You can see what's this? This is the wings of Sophie, the driver. So they are actually attached to this package, and then she sits like this, and you attach her back to the wings like that. All this maybe should be painted before I attach her. Maybe? And yeah, it's gonna be difficult to get this to actually... On the other hand, gluing this on, yeah, I can just about get a brush in to paint in between here, but maybe I should do a really something really complex here, as in painting parts of each part before assembly, and especially painting the parts that will be hard to reach, then assembling, and then painting the rest. That is a possibility. And it's still like this, and she will sit like that, and it's not gonna connect up properly. This is really bothersome. Well, it will if I sort of lean her back a bit more than would be natural, and maybe if I cut away a little bit of that hair. I can get it to connect up properly. Anyway, decisions. How does this thing attach? I'm not sure where it is even. Oh, yeah, it's this way. Haha. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully I'll solve this by next week. It's getting to be that time of year where I really have to dig into the Christmas minis. So I have dug out some that I bought last year. I think last year, I'm not sure, some might be 2 years old. From Reaper, we have this is from last year. This is the 2015 Santa Dwarf, as you can see. These are marked simply 12 Days of Christmas, which is the promotion they run each December. There's 12 days, and if you place an order during a particular day, you get a particular bonus mini. And I think I placed two orders last year, so I have these two. These are the Christmas Familiars, and these are a couple of elves named Naughty and Nice. You see they each have a list. You get the idea. I'll unpack these for you and show them a bit more closely, and I can talk a little bit about this year's promotion. I just saw the list of which minis are for this year's promotion, and I was a little I'm not sure if I'm happy or not, because previous years they've always had a mix of bonus minis. Some of them have been new Christmas themed minis, but most of them have been other types of limited edition minis that they brought back just for this promotion. Here we have the Santa Dwarf. This year they've gone with all Christmas minis. 12 Christmas themed minis, and only 4 of them are repeats. For example, these 2 packs are coming back, as well as that dragon I finished that you saw earlier in this video. And then there's 8 new ones. They're all Christmas themed. And I do want them all, but I can't place 8 orders. There's no way I have the resources to do that. So I'm just gonna have to be really frugal and decide which one or ones I want the most. I think I have my eye on 2 of the 8 that I want more than the others, and so I'll go for those. Now all of these that I'm showing you right now will need to be glued onto a 25mm, maybe 20mm for these plastic base, and give them some texture and some snow work. So you can see what these familiars are. This one might need a 25mm base still, because it's kind of wide. As you can see, it's a seal with a little Christmas present. And here we have a sprue with a bear and a penguin. Bear with a little hat and a box, and the penguin has a box and it has a little scarf around its neck. That's cute. So these 6 minis will be what I start prepping next. And let's look at theme numbers and new arrivals. Now for this week's unboxing of completely new arrivals, I got a box from Uncle Mike's. And if you don't know what Uncle Mike's is, it's it's the shop that also sells strange Aeons stuff. And I got some really strange stuff here. For, if you don't recall, Strange Aeons is that Call of Cthulhu based miniatures game that I'd done some battle reports of on solo play for, and I might get back to that someday. Anyway, what did I get? Well, this is clearly a Shoggoth. I don't think they call it that. I don't think they use the Lovecraftian names for things in Strange Aeons usually. But you can see where it's based off. It's a really clear Cthulhuoid monster. A bag of 4 huge tentacles. And a dole. Well, it's a burrowing worm, and then some grubs go with it. I'm not sure what this little thing here is. If it's supposed to attach to it or something. Well, and I also got this. This is this year's bonus model. If you're a member of their club, or the Cults of the Black Oak, as it's called, every year you get a free mini. And this is this year's, some sort of weird guy. And they've added something else, some sort of thing in, some sort of ghost or something in translucent plastic here. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be, honestly. I'll figure it out eventually. So, by my counting, it's like 1, 4, 5... Oh, it's 3 tentacles, so 8, 9 minis. Which I will get around to as soon as I start thinking 20th century stuff again. Though I suppose the monsters are generic enough that you could use them in a fantasy setting as well. Yeah, well, you know, any excuse is good to paint them. But before we leave, I do want to show you one more thing that's arrived. So what is this, you wonder? Well, it's also kind of Cthulhu based. It's kind of gaming related. If you don't recognize this symbol, it's the symbol of a game called Achtung Cthulhu, which is a role-playing game based on Call of Cthulhu, and well, it's sort of a setting for Call of Cthulhu. It's also going to be a skirmish miniatures game, which I have pre-ordered and will receive as soon as it's done. Let me open this thing up. But this, this is the Achtung Cthulhu messenger bag. It's a sort of canvas and leather bag. We have the shoulder strap here, with hooks to attach it. It has a lot of pockets inside. And this is what I plan to use every day from now on. See, I got this from Modifius Games because my old messenger bag, let me show you. This is a simple, not gaming related anyway, just simple canvas bag, which has served me well for a number of years. But lately, see this seam here on the bottom has given way, so I can't carry small items in it anymore. And this is, of course, fixable. You can't sew this, it's going to split open again, but you could, I don't know, duct tape or something, but that would just look ugly and cheap and like, man, can't you afford a new bag? So, I got this instead. But, you know, this, hopefully, you know, the leather will make it last a bit longer. I think I got a good 4 years, maybe 5 out of this one. And I'm not dissatisfied with the quality of my old bag. It lasted, considering the cost, long enough. I do want to get at least 5 years out of this one as well, to consider it worth my money. But yeah, I just thought you might be interested to see that. I'll keep you updated. If it fails in quality before it's time, I'll make sure to let you know. Anyway, that was this week's show. Be sure to check in again next week for more miniatures related goodness. Until then, click like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you next week. Until then, I'm Dakian and I'm signing off.